Well, obviously when I was just looking at the courses and stuff, it was the college that impressed me the most. And out of the colleges that I've been looking around, I just like the layout and everything seemed really friendly, like especially on the open evenings. Teachers just seemed really relaxed and like welcoming. Well, I'm looking at doing a degree in quantity surveying, so it ties in really well with that. And I'm doing business as well, doing business A-level, so it ties in with that really well. It's looking at like external environment. You're doing macro and micro, so it's like two different perspectives. You get to see like real life economics in real life really, and you look at things like theory of the firm, like production, unemployment, like inflation. It all ties in really well, all my courses together. So when you're looking at microeconomics, that's sort of like zooming in and looking at closely at businesses and like firms. You look at like wage differentials, so why people get paid different wages. You look at like types of market and like what sort of products fit into the markets, and like you look at the conditions like for the market and see what sort of things affect that, and then you'll learn something, and when you go back to it weeks later it'll all tie in together, you know, with new stuff that you've learned. And like when you do your AS and your A-level, it sort of explains it better in the A2 because you've learnt all that theory in your first year. But when you're doing like macro, that sort of zooms out, so you look at like, I can't explain it, but it's like a broader perspective. So you look at like unemployment, inflation, and just like how the economy can change over time with like the economic cycles and stuff. It varies really, so a typical economics lesson I'd say is the teacher doing a lot of theory. You sort of take your own notes, but then when it's something really important that they want you to have in your notes, they'll pause and say, you need to have this, but you can write like as much or as little as you want. So it'll be a lot of theory, and then they'll sort of apply that to things we've done in the past, or like an exam question could be, and this is where you tie it in. There's sort of like time for questions, and save some, like not just me, say if someone else isn't getting something, like Dan the economics teacher is quite happy to pause and explain it for them, but it like rejogs your memory as well. You don't do economics in school, so you're sort of in like deep water there, aren't you? Because you might have an understanding, but not like in depth. And then considering it's like a brand new subject to you, it does teach it really well. And like you can apply it to real life examples, so it's like, you might know of that example, but there's like an actual theory and a name for it in economics, and you can relate them really well. Yeah, so I'm looking at a degree in quantity surveying, and like when I've been in the lessons, I've been able to link that to what I want to do in the future, because I think like links to like the type of market, labour markets and theory of production.